Here's my Baylor football prediction video. The good news is the defense returns 9 or 10 stars. The offense at least 7 or 8, but it could be less because of medical retirements. I don't know. But I know one thing, the offense has to be better than last year. The defense was enough to win 5 games in a shortened season last year. But I got a feeling both will be better. This is best case scenario. Texas State, win. Texas Southern, win. Kansas, someone said Kansas is going to beat Baylor this year. I don't believe it. Maybe their max is 3 wins this year, and it won't be against us. Win. Iowa State, I call that a half. And I'll explain why later with the West Virginia game. At Oklahoma State, loss. Historically, we only beat Oklahoma State like 3 times in history since 1939, 2015, and 2019. Though I do think they're going to take a step back, but I'm not sure if we're going to win that game. West Virginia and McLane Stadium, half with the Iowa State game. There's BYU. Ironically, we took their offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach away from BYU to come down to Baylor now. We also got Chancey Stuckey from Clemson and Brian Stewart, the former defensive backs coach. He's now defensive coordinator at Maryland, but we got someone really good from like SMU. I try to remember his name. And later, okay, BYU win, because I do think BYU is going to take a step back. Okay, then there's a bye week, which is a good time because it's Texas. I don't know what to expect from Texas this year, honestly. They could win from 4 to 6 wins or up to 8 wins. I don't know under Steve Sarkisian right now. Because it's at home, I'm calling that a win. At TCU, loss. That's the key stretch from Texas to Oklahoma. Texas to Oklahoma. Oklahoma in McLane Stadium. Oklahoma's never defeated Baylor in McLane Stadium by more than 10 points. Oklahoma's coming off of a bye week. But I know they might be looking ahead because the next game is Iowa State in Norman. So that could be one of those games that Oklahoma could fall to. I think Oklahoma will fall to someone once this year, but I don't think it's us. So I'm calling that a loss. Kansas State and Manhattan. Kansas State is going to pull off an upset somewhere in the Big 12 this year. But really, after that, they're more like a 6 to 7 win football team. So I'm calling that a win. Texas Tech in McLane Stadium, win. Because I don't think Texas Tech possibly might not make a bowl game this year. Under year 3 of Matt Wells, and he might be on the way out. The Iowa State and West Virginia games on halves on are because I could see Baylor winning one of those games at least. Best case scenario. Because Iowa State is going to play probably a day game, and it's at home, and we almost beat them last year. And it's going to be an interesting battle with them. West Virginia, because they really shouldn't have not beat us last year. Because we scored a touchdown with John Lovett over the goal line, and the referees just didn't call it. And then we scored later in the game just to even go to overtime. But it doesn't matter from what happened in the past to now. But I do think it's probably one or the other, but not both. However, I won't be shocked if they win both. But that would be 9-3. That's a really stretching it out. 8 wins is probably the max. Anything less than the bowl game, worst case scenario, just 6-6. It has to be a bowl game this year. Because the schedule's favorable, and you got all the big teams coming to you this year. Sick 'em.